you. Thank you. How are
It
y'all
is
doing?
such a pleasure to interview with you. I am so excited about this.
Night. Nervous, but yeah.
Don't be nervous. I promise we won't hand you too much. And if we're going too fast, just let us know, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So, me personally, I'm a huge fan. I absolutely loved you on your season. I love that you always stood up for what you believed in and you didn't let anyone push you around. So, personally, I would love to know what was that like for you being in that type of dynamic constantly where you like feel like you have to defend yourself?
Uh, I mean, at the time, I was a shit show. I just was mentally not, obviously, or we wouldn't have gotten casted, I feel like, that's what they were
Yeah.
looking for. Like, unstable, mentally unstable, crazy girls. I guess that was what the, concept of the show was. Um, I don't know. It was hectic, very hectic. I mean, at the time, well, I mean, you put yourself out there to be vulnerable. And at this, I didn't want to be fake. I didn't want to, I
Yeah.
wanted to be exactly who I was and stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's different. It was a situation where, like I said, so many personalities in one house. And
Yeah.
I honestly got matched with everything I didn't want. Like, and not in a bad way, but when I auditioned for it and they flew me out to California, I just remember sitting there and they're like, what would your ideal roommates be? And it was everything I did not have.
Oh
And
man.
yeah, it was basically girls that I never hang out with in general, and
Yeah.
we were all just totally different, totally different. So it was just crazy to feel like I just felt always out of place, and I ended up being
Uh-huh.
out of place. I kind of just ended up being neutral and not wanting to have to fight with anyone, and just you. But I think when you put yourself in a home or a new situation with any kind, you kind of have that, that at least for me, like that I don't know how to explain that feeling of having to put your guard up for a little bit. And
Yeah.
but because I felt like we were all there for the same reason, I was so open to everything and to everyone right away. And I think in the end a lot of the girls did have their walls up, and not that they were putting a front up or who they weren't, but they also were more kind of like didn't want to show a lot of stuff that was going to be shown on television. And I totally get it, but I honestly, I guess I just didn't care. So,
That's what I liked about you the most though.
yeah.
Like I always seen that firecracker personality and I loved it right away. Like I love that you were always down to have fun for one, and two, you were always going to stand up for yourself and your friends, and I absolutely admired it.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I've always apparently had problems with and still is like having no filter. And I'm trying to learn how to have a filter, or at least to know what situation to,
Yeah, boundaries
yeah,
definitely.
boundaries. That's the new word of that's the year. That is going to be my word of 2023, boundaries.
Yeah. I'm working on that myself.
Sorry to jump in a little bit late here. I was having a hard time connecting, but hi.
Hey,
Thank you.
nice to meet
Uh,
you.
One of our questions that people are asking in here that I noticed is why did you audition for Bad Girls Club?
So I guess like everyone else that must audition, like obviously I felt like I've always wanted to be an actress. I'm not gonna lie. As a child, I wasn't acting on the
Okay.
show, but as a child, like I always liked, I remember when I was in third grade, I'd always write my name, Darlene Escobar, and I'd be like, I'm gonna be famous one day. Just wait and see. I don't think that was the perfect or the right way to do it, but what's it called? So I did, I kind of I had done like a couple auditions. I played hot girl number one in a movie. And I remember reading some stuff after the show saying like, these are paid actresses. This is fake. This isn't even real, and this and that. But I was living on 6th Street in Austin, Texas. And I was dating one of the bar owners downtown, and I had been banned from his bar for fighting with his employee. And then my roommate at the time was in fashion school at UT, and I remember coming home from an after party just to like run in and change real quick. And she was on the floor or watching TV, and she's like, "Girl, this is all you and one person." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And it was season 1. And I was like, "What are you talking?" And I remember I hadn't been home in days. So I was coming to shower, change, get some clothes, and leave. So I sat down, I watched, and it was the episode season 1 when they're on the beach
Oh, Tyne Amy's epic
and
fight.
they're all fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember that, and that's the, and I was like, "What are you watching?" And she's like, "It's called Bad Girls Club." And she's like, "Girl, this is you." And then she's like, "One's a stripper, one wants to be famous, one's a fighter, one's a bitch, one's this, one's a single mom, one's blah 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 blah." So or one has a daughter, and so I was like, "What are you trying to say?" And so, but I did watch it. Oh, Ripsy. She said I reminded her of Ripsy. And so I was just like, huh. So I watched it for like that first episode and I'm like, all right, you're crazy. I got to go. So I left, went, and not even that long after that, I got a phone call, rest in peace, from a friend of mine. It was like, hey, they're auditioning for a show called Bad Girls Club. And I was like, oh my God, Vanessa just brought it up to me. So I was like, all right. And it was at this little Irish pub here in Austin. And at the time, my boyfriend was like, why are you auditioning? You know, you're going to get it. No one's crazier than you, this and that, and blah, blah. And I was just like, hey, you never know. Why not? Right? Like, I wanted to be on The Real World. I don't think I ever auditioned for it. But so I did. I went and auditioned. And I mean, I don't have tattoos, like if you see me, you probably like, I've been told like, oh, you're smaller than I thought, and I'm like, so you don't really think of a psycho, you just think of like, this little tiny Mexican lady there or whatever I am. And, but yeah, so I did. And then I made it to the next casting. And then it was at a hotel and it was like 10 in the morning. It says dress date ready. And I remember my boyfriend dropped me off in the morning and he's like, are you sure? He thought I was like prostituting myself because he was like, I'm dropping you at a hotel at 10 in the morning just like that. And I was like, they told me to come date ready. And I feel like he didn't believe me at the time because I mean, he did go with me to the first casting, but he didn't understand why I was going to a hotel like at 10 in the morning dressed like a slut. So I went into the hotel. There was a whole bunch of other girls in the little, the lobby. They took me up and I just opened up to the girl. She asked me questions, talked about my life, not necessarily what makes you a bad girl. Cause I mean, I don't think anyone's proud to be a bad girl. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to really have that title because it can mean so many different things and not always good. But it was just more like she asked me about my family. I was really upset about at the time, being a young mother and not being really a mother, but having a daughter and having just issues about my childhood and stuff like that. So a couple of times she'd stop the camera and we'd both be crying and then she would start it again. She's like, okay, let's keep going. And so then she gave me a little piece of paper and said, please put it in your purse. Don't let the girls see it. And it was the casting like videotape that I had to make, and maybe I procrastinated and I think I sent it out the day it was due, but called me and I was like, hey, all right. Then that's when they flew me out to LA. But I remember when I was in LA, he had flashcards, the producer director, and he was like, I'm going to bring up pictures, just whatever words come to your mind about these people, say it. And I remember it was Barack Obama, and he wasn't president yet. I think he was running, but I didn't know that who he was. But he goes, this guy. And I was like, Alex Rodriguez? And then he was like, no. And then I go, I mean, he's fuckable, but I don't know who that is. And then he was just like, it could be our next president. And I'm like, oh, damn, we're going to have a hot president. And then I think a couple of them was like Alex Rodriguez. And then I was like, oh, definitely fuckable. And, Britney Spears and Paris Hilton, I was like my role models. So not Paris Hilton more so than Britney. Yeah. And so the rest was history.
Wow, that's interesting. A question I have is, after like, the Bad Girls Club and whatnot, like what girls did you keep in touch with still to this day? Like, cause I know like you of course speak to Tanisha and Naveen, but
yeah. I mean, I'm not that I don't like, I have no like, like even I watch Housewives sometimes and sometimes I'm like, oh, you'll see like, they'll start getting along and then when they watch at the reunion they like hate each other again because of the shit they've seen and I'm like, oh, I totally relate. But my thing is there's some episodes where I'm like, damn, if I had just known the shadiness of like Genovese, you know what I'm saying? Or like but then again, we were really young. We weren't there to like, from what I thought the concept of the show was to better ourselves, right? To learn off each other, to learn and to be like, hey, why are you fucked up? Oh, well, I'm fucked up because of this. Like, well, you know, oh, well, let's be friends, you know, not, well, fuck you, you're fucked up. I'll show you how more fucked up I can be than you. Like, you know, I feel like that's where the show started turning towards, and it just lost the concept of what I thought it was when I did audition for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've I've never really wanted to have beef with anyone, you know. It just kind of, Genovese and Cordelia were more fun. I feel like at that time, I feel like Naveen and Hannah and Tanisha kind of had their guard up with the cameras and didn't want, you know, I feel like they were a lot more fun and just kind of they didn't know, I don't know. That's what I got out of it. But Naveen, I mean, Tanisha, the first day, obviously, there was, you know, a shit show between us. And I don't know. I love her. Like, I still do. I honestly, a bucket list is to have her here in Austin, or me see her in New York and just see her again, just give her a big hug. So, Naveen too. I from the day one, me and her had a connection, and then it kind of just separated, you know, like we kind of went to separate groups and stuff like that. But I mean, in the end, I don't have a problem with anyone. Andrea, I think I'm friends with her on Instagram still. And yeah, I mean, I think Cordelia got married, right?
Yeah, Cordelia's with a great man.
She was always smart. I think she finished and went back to school for something. And then Hannah, did she fall off the face of the earth? Like, I really have no idea whatever happened to her.
That's what we really want to know.
Yeah, I would love to see where she's at in life and just what she's become. Like, you know.
I just guessed with Hannah, like, I was gonna ask you this, like, I don't know, like, did you ever experience like producers like being like rude to her? Because from what I heard, like, production like edited her to be like Tanisha's follower, and Hannah just wasn't pleased with that. So that's one of the reasons, I guess. Like,
so you're asking if she was what, Tanisha's sheep?
like,
hyena?
no, like,
Was she edited a certain way to look like?
I feel like at the time, I don't want to know if they edited it to make her feel like a follower or her, you know, Tanisha's little bitch or whatever. But it was in real life where they had each other's back for sure. Like, you know, Tanisha was going to fight. They wanted her there. They would stop it, you know, or they would intervene it. And her and Naveen would definitely make sure that Tanisha wasn't going to get kicked off and, you know, had her back. So I wouldn't say that she was like, you know, because in the end, like, no, Hannah did. I mean, she had her own little personality, you know, and she did her own little thing. And so did Naveen. And like, obviously, like, you know, they talked a lot of shit when they needed to and stuff like that. But when it came down to like Tanisha, they did have her back a lot. And it wasn't like, you know, kissing her ass, I feel like, but it was more so not wanting her to leave the show, and had love for her to where they would do anything for her not to like have to like feed into the drama, so she could not have to fight and stay. And you know what I'm saying? Because back then it was like you'd get in a fight and you'd have to leave.
Yeah, because just like the whole point revolved around our page is like to bring like, you know, a positive change to the fandom, because I'm pretty sure you are aware of this. Like, the fandom can be like a very toxic place, and fans are so quick to like, you know, have opinions, which they are entitled to, but they can go a little bit too deep. And that's exactly why, you know, our page is created, you know, just to like, you know, like bring a positive change, like I said.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to update your fans with, like how you're doing in life, job, kids, marriage, possibly anything?
With the what? What was the last part?
Are you married? Yeah. Are you working your dream job?
No, I'm doing none of the above. I am still working on myself, working on my life. I have a great relationship now with my oldest. She graduated Sam Houston University with criminal justice. And in May at 21. And yeah, she loves her little sister. I have a little girl, Zachary, who's just, she's my little angel face, and I would die for her. But I mean, at the moment, honestly, no, as the typical everything, I'm going through a custody thing with her father, and I mean, eventually one day I will be writing a book when all this is over. that's not to y'all. This is, if they were to see this, I'm not done fighting. That's my baby. And to me, it's like they can just, you know, in the end, like people have opinion, like you said, opinions, and you can, some people say some things that because I wasn't there for my first one. I was also 17 years old and 100% admit I was not in this right state of mind in any aspect of my life at that moment to be a mother. I get one more chance at being a mother, and not many people get that. So I'm not going to fuck up this time. But
well,
yeah.
That's beautiful to hear, and congrats that you guys have a relationship, because I know that must have been hard to talk about on camera, right? Like, I feel like your story, you talked a lot more about your personal life during that season than a lot of other people did on camera.
Yeah.
You were kind of just an open book.
I was gonna say that's my problem. I guess I am just an open book. Like, and now I do want a lot. I guess. I don't know how to. I don't know. There was, like I said, trauma from childhood that I wouldn't come around my oldest around, you know, because I didn't want to have to hear remarks from either my stepmom or even my dad sometimes, you know. So in my head, it was just better to run and do anything I could to forget about not being the best, you know, not being there for my little girl, and just hide and partying and friends and stuff like that, you know. But it was never that I didn't love her. I think she keeps thinking that now. Honestly, it's sad, but we kind of kid about that. Like, we kid a lot. We're very, I think we've talked about it. I think she understands where I was coming from at that time in my life. She's very mature, very smart, and very kind and loving, to where now, yeah, like her and my mom were talking the other day about a trip they took, and I'm like, when did y'all go there? And she's like, remember, you were never there for me in my life. And I'm like, damn it, I keep forgetting. So, yeah, so we kind of kid about it, you know, like, et cetera, et cetera. But, yeah, it does suck sometimes, because also I was 17, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't know. But now my thing is, I show up. I don't care if I have to hear a remark from someone that is going to make me uncomfortable, because in the end, I'm there for her and not them. And I, back then, would let people get to me. And now I stand my ground, and I don't. Like, as long as I know my intentions are good, and I kind of just, you know, I was so insecure with myself and my life and my feelings and who I was, that anyone could say anything, and then I would take it to heart and start crying. And now, to me, your opinion's just your opinion. You don't know me. And, you know, I'm going to keep living my life and doing the best that I know I can.
Yeah.
With as far as I was in.
Let's touch on that too, because so I think out of the season, you were kind of known as the firecracker.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all watched some of the highlights and stuff like that. Seems like you got in the most fights.
It did.
Like, physical altercations out of people on the cast. Like, do you want to touch base on that? Because I know a lot of fans were asking us.
I was very angry inside. And when I hear some of the stories from people, like nowadays, from like my friends back then downtown, like I seriously am like, hey, like, my 20s were a blur. I'm in, you know, 100% a blur in every aspect. Like, now I don't do drugs. I don't care to be around them like that. I mean, if you're doing them, and that's your business, you know, but I've lost friends from them. I think they're stupid. I think there's better things we could be doing. Like, you don't need that to have fun. To me, I did drugs because I was covering the feelings and the emotions, and I wanted to numb all that, you know. And now, you know, I feel like it takes you nowhere good, especially these days. The shit's mixed with so much stuff. Like, you don't want it to be a mistake and be your last time to, like, wake up, you know, over a 5-second thing of enjoyment. So, but yeah, I don't like to get there anymore. That's another thing. Like, I don't want to feel angry inside. I don't want to be mad. Like, life is way too valuable and precious and sad. And, like, I've learned that anything that's happened to me in my life, or any situation I've ever been in that wasn't good, is a learning lesson to move forward in a positive light, and just with love. Like, and I know it's corny, and I used to be that way. Like, I'm like, okay, shut the fuck up. But it is. Love is the answer to everything, you know. Obviously not paying rent and shit, but it's still the answer to, you know, living a healthy mentally and emotionally life. Because why do you want to live like that? Especially in the world we live in, it's so fucked up. Like, don't add to it. Don't be that, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I noticed on your season, I noticed that change of when you wanted to stop drinking around the time you and Genovese kind of started getting together and being
Yeah.
friends, and you noticed like how hard it is to be around people when they're drunk, and you started to reflect on yourself. I think that was like one of my favorite you moments of the season because like again, like you said, the show was supposed to promote growth in these girls that are going through such difficult things, and I feel like from your season, you really portrayed that you wanted to make a change and have a different life. And if you write that book, I'm buying it. Okay.
No, I definitely, yeah, I want two. I need two from relationship status and another one. But like in the end, it's corny again. But I'm not, and I totally get it now because I have guys that try to like ask me on dates, and then not that I flake, but I'm focusing on my life, my little girl, you know, and like I'm not one that now. If I have Zachary, like I 100% don't go find a babysitter to go out. I do not. Like I stay with her home. I say no to a lot of things. And my time when her father has her, then that's when I will find something if I have time to go to be social. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
no, like I said, time is precious, and the fact I have to share her, like my time spent with her all time. Sorry. But
Another
yeah,
question, tie back into my other question, because like I know for myself personally, a lot of the fans that like we post clips or anything, they're really curious about that altercation with the guy.
yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
kind
so
of
embarrassed by that.
Can you just like give us like a little brief rundown of what you remember happening? Because we know that the editors kind of like throw it all over the place.
No, so we went to a party and like I said, I was just angry inside, and I think anything like that's why I think I could jump over a couch and grab a girl, and you know, because there was so much anger inside me from everything in my life that I took it out on anyone that crossed my path. And that dude, we had been at the party and having a good time and I guess he had beef with Marcus, and I don't know, the guy kept like bothering, especially with the cameras and stuff. Some people just want the attention too, and they want to like egg you on, like egg the drama on. And all I remember was like turning around and we're walking through the crowd. It was crowded, and I started feeling wetness on me. I realized later it was him pouring the bottle on him. Like, who does that? And if you don't want your ass whooped, like that's just like, really, you're gonna do that and think you're just gonna walk away with,
Right.
hey, thanks, good job, you know? No, like, so when he did that and I got my hair wet, I was like, what? That's when I realized, like, what's going on? And when Marcus was like, oh, that's the same guy that had been bothering us, that wants the drama with me, has a problem with me. And then I realized, I was like, you just ruined my hair, because it just flattened. It flattened out like this. It looked like this, but I had just curled it really pretty. So yeah, I went red, attack mode. I needed to find him. I needed to let him know that that was not okay. But I shouldn't have gone all that, because now in hindsight, I'm like, damn, that was assault, I think.
Well, that was the second part of the question was, did you ever get into any legal troubles because of that?
Because of him? No.
No. Get into any legal troubles at all due to any of your actions on the show?
No.
No. Tanisha was the only one who was arrested.
Yes, and that people started getting to the point of like even racism at some point, that, oh, of course they did her, they put her, not us. And no, I swear to God, when all that was happening, we already had a bodyguard at this point for us, like, or for me, I guess, for my drinking. And so the show had someone watching us at all times, mainly me, to make sure they were counting my shots, counting that I wasn't going to go there. And I just remember going to the bar and trying to sneak them and stuff because it was so crowded. 8 girls, you know what I'm saying? Camera crew. And oh, I remember the game was there that night. He's hot. He's tall. I always thought he was shorter. I remember that. He was cute. And he was on the platform with us. But I just remember drinking and getting drunk, and I tried to have a good time. I honestly was, because it was towards the end. You know what I'm saying? And I remember walking up to our table. So I never saw the Naveen or whoever, Hannah, throw the bracelet. I never saw the drama. I just remember walking up and I saw things on the floor, but I was like, what's going on? At that point, I had been drinking a couple more than I should have. And I saw Tanisha angry and them screaming. And then I'm like, what is going on? There's obviously drama going on here. And they threw a glass. And the drink, again, fell on me. I saw red. They pointed, I guess I understood who the drama was between, and I just jumped that couch, brought her over, just started, again, I saw red and just started kicking, hurting as much as I could, you know what I'm saying? And when they finally separated us, all the door guys were like, out, everyone's out, done. Y'all are like, to us mainly. And people were being pushed, and I just remember getting pushed to the back of the bar, the club. Like at this point, it's towards the entrance, but they were pushing me towards the back. Like producers were like, let's go now. And I guess Tanisha, Naveen, and them kind of went out through the front door. And I guess in the mix of the fight, another guy had blood coming down his head, and they pointed to them. And I guess that's when Tanisha got taken. But they made it sound like we pinpointed her and people were pointing at her, and it was like, oh, they let them go and took her. No, we got separated. And then before I knew it, I don't think they showed it, the limo came to pick us up in the front because we didn't know where everyone was, didn't know what was going on. Got in the limo is when we got in the limo, was when they were like, Tanisha just got arrested. And I swear to God, I was the first person to be like, let me out. It was me. Like, let me out. Like, I arrest me. Like, I was upset too that they arrested her, because I was like, no, she had nothing. It was me. Are you kidding me? She's the one that was like, let's go. And so the producers like, stay in the limo. You're not getting out. The drama was happening in the front. We were in the alley. It was just, they don't show that obviously, but yeah, I do remember 100%. I was ready to get out and tell them to arrest me, take me, not her, because like you said, I was an open book. I do stand up for people. I also don't back out if it's my problem, my fault. You know what I'm saying? I'll take responsibility for it. But
so I have a question. If you could be on any different season of BGC, which season would you choose to have been on besides your own?
either with Judy or Miami. Or no, Amber, season 4. Amber seems pretty fun. Judy, yeah, anything with Judy, Amber, or Morgan. That girl Morgan.
Nice.
Oh, Morgan.
Yeah. I think she would have been, see, that's the kind of girls I wanted on my season. We seem like we would have hit it off. Like,
are we talking Morgan from Miami that dated Philip Klein?
Yeah.
That is a glow up. I would just like to shout out Morgan. Congrats on that, baby.
What happened with her?
Oh, she looks amazing, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, she was
always, she was great.
Like, drop dead beautiful. Like, she didn't need
I was gonna say she was always gorgeous anyway, so it wasn't. I was like, how can you glow up more than that?
So another question too, because I saw that you, like, I don't know where I saw this, but there was like some kind of an audition tape or something where you kind of were like talking, like it kind of seemed like you were auditioning for other reality shows. Have you been offered any other?
They did. It was Love Games. I had actually gone to LA again to cast. I think it was Love Games 2. And because I thought I was single, but I guess they called my references, and some of them were like, without knowing why they were calling them, kind of asked about me and if I was dating anyone and stuff, and they said I was. But I was like, he cheats on me all the time. It's not a relationship. We cheat on each other. I can still go. Like, I'm still trying to find love. But at that point, they were like, well, I guess they wanted someone that was going to be willing to be like kissing and hugging another guy, you know, without having that, you know. Oh, and also because I remember for season 1, I had Osh, my boyfriend at the time. And so towards like some of the incidents when I was with Genovese and some friends of hers and stuff, there was situations where I had to beg them, please don't post that, please don't, or not post it, but please don't air it. I'm gonna look like a slut, and it looks like I just please don't make him like look like he's leaving my room. And they're like, but he did. I'm like, I know, but no, like, but yeah. So I think after that and people telling him I had a boyfriend for the Love Games, they were like, we don't need her to be crying and begging us to not post that she's being a slut with 5 different dudes, you know? So, and I did audition for The Bachelor, Paris, a
Mhm.
long time ago. And I didn't have a passport at that time. But I did. I had gotten to the point where they were like, I had made it to the castings and stuff. And then I saw it and I was like, I didn't really miss out on much. She wasn't that cute anyway. So that was good.
Were you
But
offered All-Star Battle or like Bad Girls
Redemption?
Redemption?
no,
They didn't reach out at all for any of those?
no,
Would
asshole.
would you have
That's
done it?
crazy that they didn't.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing I wouldn't, I think Natalie had hit me up when she was starting to do the Bad Girls thing, the baddies and stuff, because I had a message from her, I think on my Twitter or something, saying, "Hey, beautiful," and then I just never responded. But I just that I wouldn't do, and probably anything right now I wouldn't do. Going through what I'm going through, I got to be on my
Mhm.
A game. You know, like they're digging deep for me to fuck up, and I'm trying to be as good as I can right now. Not just because of that, but in general, like I don't want to portray that. I don't want to get there anymore. Like I really don't want to
Right.
get angry.
I
Like
could see you on like the challenge.
huh?
I could see you on like the challenge.
100% earlier, dude. I was driving to go get Z, my daughter, and I was just like, damn. I went. I did. I don't. In my head, I was like, you know, my own little race thingy, and I was just like, yeah, I would be. And I was running errands, and I was like in and out and doing this, and I'm like, I need to be on a challenge. I think
You
I even.
should.
I
Or
think I
what
meant.
about the Amazing Race?
What? No, I see. I was thinking Survivor.
Ooh,
Survivor
See that for you.
or Big Brother. I think I want
Big
to.
Brother. I would love to see you in
Yeah,
Big Brother.
I
That
think I
would
could
be
do Big
great.
Brother, but then I don't know if I could be away from my baby that long. It's like a 3 month
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but I think I've stalked that TJ Lavin dude a couple times on
Mhm.
Instagram and Twitter, and he doesn't respond to me. And I'm like, please, please, what do I have to do? I
He
really want to
doesn't
be
even
on
know you'd
there.
be amazing on there.
I think I'd be a good challenge. I'm really competitive, you know, and instead of having all that anger and like the negative light and you know, trying to
Right.
go to jail, like I'd rather do it trying to win money and having to like do like these things that would I know I would win at. Like I'm not a
Right.
loser. My
Well,
mom always said she raised wieners because she has a
how,
Spanish accent. Because she's always like, Mija, Juan Darlen, I raised wieners, wieners. And I'm like, wieners. Yeah, you did. I like those.
I know. I have a lot of love for your mom. We were watching highlights, and I just remember your phone call. She's like, "Mijo, you can be mean sometimes too," and you're like, "No, I can't,
Yeah.
mom." She's like,
Yeah,
"Listen."
recently she even said she's like in Spanish, she's like when you need to step up and like have boundaries and you know put your foot down for things and people and stand up for yourself, you don't. And when you do, yeah, and when you don't need to is when I blow up and I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And they're like, whoa, that was pointless. Like where was that attitude like, to that person, you know? So
So we
Yeah.
do play a little game in our interviews. It's not like a game, but so we'll just like throw out one of the cast members' names and then give us like whatever memory or story comes up. So why don't we start off with Hannah?
Hannah was honestly fun. I loved her little laugh. She had a cute little laugh and she was beautiful. She was fun. She seemed like she was a good time. Like, but the episode where she's like, I don't fight fair bitches, I use weapons. I was like, oh, I love it. No, not like that, but I was like, I'd never seen her get like that. And she was angry. I mean, veins were popping out of her face. Like, you know, if she could have attacked her, she totally would have. Like, it was like, yeah, yeah. I remember that day was very intense. It just got very intense and icky in that, you know, in the house. It wasn't even fun anymore. So, no offense
Yeah.
when Genovese left, it kind of all settled. You know what I'm saying? And like, it was finally like, all right, a fresh breath of air. Let's fucking hang out and get to know each other and actually enjoy this experience and not be about, you know, F you. Yeah.
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 So how about Genovese then, seeing we kind of mentioned her?
I mean, the only memory, I mean, I guess wherever, she was a good time. When we put the stuff in our butts and pee-peed on stuff and the house. I know some people say it's gross and disgusting and 100%. Oh, we got in trouble that morning. we were sleeping. And I remember the producer walked, I guess because the producer would watch everything the night before. And she said no. And she woke us up. I don't know how we got away with it, but she woke us up before the other girls did and said, this is unsanitary. You guys cannot be, y'all need to throw out everything. I don't care what y'all make up or say to those girls, but you have to throw everything out, because I guess it was the feces and stuff on their food. And if they had eaten it and gotten sick, they could have like sued the company too for letting something like that happen and be liable for it themselves. Then, you know.
Okay, so we've interviewed Andrea and Lyric from your season. Lyric said that Genovese had pissed in somebody's mouth, like a guy's mouth.
Oh yeah. Here, I just
Wow.
yeah. It was. So we had gone out with Dr. Dre's son, Curtis.
Yeah.
And we had gone to Saddle Ranch. And one of the dudes there was this tall, bald guy with tattoos. I tattoo artists of friends of Genovese. And I remember I was on the phone with Osh and we were drunk. And then they were all outside. That was the night, I swear, I'm pretty sure that was the night before the pots and pans. Because their bedroom was right by the pool, and so they could hear all the commotion and chaos, and they kept saying, can we dude, I'm sure we're trying to sleep, like what the F, like what, you know. And I was on the phone, but I remember Cordelia and them coming in, and they're like what the, you know. I was just like, oh, because I did see them kind of wanting to do it, but I'm like, they're not going to do that shit. That's, who does that? That's just gross. They had talked about it. And then when I saw them and then apparently he like laid down and she like got over him and just squatted and just,
oh my goodness.
I was like, oh my God. Okay, I got limits too.
Okay, that's gross.
I mean, now it would work if, you know, want to put it on OnlyFans and make some money.
Also, another question is something that a lot of people don't know, but apparently Genovese is from like a very wealthy family.
Oh, really?
And she's like actually very wealthy.
I had no idea that. Like, for sure, y'all are just
guessing. Well, that's what we heard from the other girls we've interviewed from your season.
I honestly have no idea. I don't even know what she's up to. I know the baby. She had a baby, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know nothing about her right now. I don't know where she's at. I don't know how old her baby is. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know nothing. I'm friends with Lyric too on Instagram and stuff. So I saw she had a little baby. That's pretty cute. And Tanisha had a little baby boy. He's so cute. So cute.
How about Lyric then, actually?
Lyric, I just loved her energy. She was something I would legit fuck with still. If it, you know, I don't know how she is now. I think she let the girls and everything get the best of her. I feel like at the reunion, you know, when she went at it with Tanisha, I don't think she was really feeling that way towards her. You know, I honestly feel like her and Tanisha had a lot of like love for each other, and I think just their personalities clashed, and I think they let, you know, the drama get the best of them, and they just figured they had to like big dick energy. Whose is bigger?
Yes, that's definitely true, because even Lyric told us in her interview that she hated how things went. Like, she didn't have no issue with Tanisha. It was Genovese who like included her into her and Tanisha's issues.
Yeah, no, she definitely was always very, hey, I'm not here for this shit. I'm here, you know. I think she was there for the experience too. So it just sucks that kind of drained her and just started turning her into a different person. She just didn't want any other part of it. And she just took herself out of the situation.
And didn't she have that ongoing like probation thing?
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how not only am I being pushed towards violence, but I'm trying to stay
that's
on
what I'm
like
saying.
the good side.
You know, I feel like she was there for the concept of the show as well, of like, we're here to change our lives, you know, better ourselves. Hey girls, what's up, kind of thing. And I think it just turned her, you know what I'm saying? I think
when we talked to her that it was explained to her too, and she was doing it, that it was going to be able to help her promote her music career and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the fans, what they don't understand is the first couple seasons were generally, that was the concept, was for these empowered women, self-proclaimed bad girls, to go in and change for the better.
Yeah.
For themselves. However, they can. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those girls, especially back in your seasons, I'm sure, I don't know, did you do a lot of club bookings after?
I did.
So you made that money, right? Like,
Yeah, for sure. I remember, I mean, I was getting paid like $2,500 just to show up, and people wanted to party with me, and I was like, sure, why not? Let's do this. Like, you know, I'm afraid of flying, but I still was down for it. I mean, you don't say no to money, you know?
you know.
So,
Mm.
Okay,
like,
what about Hannah?
who?
Hannah?
We
Yeah,
did, Hannah.
she did
Yeah.
do with Tanisha shortly, but I don't want to bring this up, but I have to. But like, unfortunately, like her and Tanisha stopped being friends after the season. Do you know anything about that?
Who?
About
Tanisha and Hannah.
I had heard about that, and that made me sad too. I don't know. Again, I feel like I don't know if maybe they saw stuff in there or things were being spoken, people's opinions, maybe like, you know, fans were talking shit. So then they kind of fed into it. I don't know. Or maybe Hannah felt some type of way for the way she feels maybe they portrayed her to, like, she didn't want to be in Tanisha's shadow. I really don't know. It sucks because, like I said, like I don't understand why they just all didn't really get along and stuff. It would.
because the reasoning I heard was like basically, um, Tanisha was doing like a booking or something, and like in some other state, and then she wanted Hannah to like pick up her luggage for her and bring it back to Brooklyn, but Hannah like basically refused, and that's Tanisha got furious, and that was the end of that. Like basically, like that rumor was like basically Hannah got tired of like Tanisha's diva attitude. Like, you know, Tanisha became the star of the season, and I
Oh,
love,
for sure.
yeah.
Tanisha, I mean, I feel like Tanisha blew up after it. You know what I'm saying? She was the one that kind of did something with the show. You know, I think, yeah, for sure. She was even on the Soup and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
then she had that show, Crazy Talk, or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was happy for her. Like honestly, like I mean, she had personality for it. I mean, they all did. You know, I feel like everyone did because they wouldn't have picked us. You know, it's the way you took what you ran with what you were given, and I think Tanisha ran with it and did great.
Do you think that she did extra for TV, though? Like, because out of, I think, most of the people, personally, and I don't have anything against any of the girls, I'm completely unbiased, but one of the people seems like when the cameras were on, it kind of feels like Tanisha always tried to turn it on for the camera. Is that how you felt filming with her? Like, did she just
Uh,
time that?
I can say the same for all the other girls. Because I honest, like I feel a little bit. Cordelia started. I love. No, this is. You know what I'm saying. This is for the time. Like I don't need drama for it with anyone. I really don't care. I have love for all of them. But I feel during that time she started just feeling like a victim and started she started feeding into the victim likeness of the situation and played the like, oh, I'm not because I as soon as Genovese left, we all kind of like started getting along, and she was like, and they accepted her. Tanisha did, Hannah did. I mean, but I feel like they genuinely did. Like they had nothing against her. It was definitely, Genovese they all had the problem with, and when she was gone, I feel like we could have all got along. But I feel like Cordelia fed into like, well, I'm not wanted. I feel like the outcast, and I feel like no one can. And it was totally not like that. And I felt at times like she ran with that like victim, attitude where I'm always not fitting in and I'm always the outcast kind of thing. And because it was not like that. Or she could have felt like that again, and I don't know, maybe she did, and that's truly genuinely how she felt, but she had no reason to feel like that. I think she had shit going on with her fiance at the time, and at a certain point we're gone for 3 months, so like we're going back to reality after all this, and not only did we just live a whole different life, we're going back to another whole different life, and things are going to change to why we were gone, and we've changed why we're gone, and things
Can't tell anybody about it either, really. So
yeah. So
okay,
yeah.
so we only have one more girl that I think everybody wants to hear about, and I think that would be Andrea.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Andrea, I actually, I thought it was pretty funny when her boyfriend came over there that day. Okay. Oh, shoot. No, I didn't. She just woke up. Seconds.
Take your time, hon.
But yeah, in the meantime, guys, how are y'all feeling? Y'all feeling great, right?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Andrea, I feel so this is the thing. Not that she wasn't bad, you know, and in the aspect of like what we all were thinking is bad. But she had the issue of the food disorder. Um, um, she wasn't bad in the aspect of like attitude, you know what I'm saying, like this and that. But to I guess they wanted to get an ask, you know, they wanted everyone to have a different storyline, and hers was obviously disorder. And so I don't know. I actually didn't mind. I thought we would have gotten along, but then I think her and Cordelia got clicky, and then again I felt some kind of way where I'm like, why does everyone else get a friend here, and where am I? You know, like I did. I just and then I ended up feeling like the outcast because I was just like, yeah, I don't have any friends here. I wanted girls with like, you know, big fake boobies, and we could go out and party and find ways, and that was nothing. There was none of that there. No. They all had relationships. Well, I guess technically I did too. Damn. I keep forgetting. I really, when we watched the season premiere, the first night at Osh's, I always remember this. And it was all of us and a group of our friends. And I totally forgot I was a slut the first night, like where I'm kissing that dude.
I'm sorry, give me one moment. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have
Go ahead, sweetie.
No, yeah, but I totally forgot. And so when we're sitting there, I was like, oh my God. I was like, we're all watching it, and then I'm like dancing, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'm like, and I'm like, ah! And I looked, oh, everyone. It was so awkward. And I was like, we broke up. Didn't we break up that day? Didn't we? I think we broke up that day. And he's like, you just left that. I think he drove me to the airport or something. So I was like, oh, yeah. But so yeah, I don't know. I
What
feel
was
like
the pivoting moment between you and Andrea? Because you guys seem to kind of get along at first. So was it, and like, we don't have to dive too much more than you're comfortable into, but I know that she had made that rehab comment. Was that like a pivoting moment for you where you kind of just had enough with her and like?
It was, again, I felt like, how do I explain it? Obviously it got to me, right? Because I obviously felt like I did have a problem and I didn't want to admit to it. So when someone says that to me, I had all these emotions of like the whole world in Austin and friends of mine and family feeling and telling me I had a problem and I needed to go to rehab. So I never wanted to accept it. So when someone I don't know is over here talking about me and we're not that close and you're making a comment that people that I've loved have told me, it just triggered the shit out of me. I was like, no, you're not going to talk about me like that. You don't know me. Like, no.
Yeah.
You go, you know, no. Reflect on yourself, girl, not on me. But, and I get it now the way like, if you see the episode, she wasn't saying it like, oh, fuck that girl, she needs to, you know, she was just like, well, maybe she needs to go to rehab. And so it just, yeah.
Like aggressive approach to it, but I could see where you would have been upset, right? You already felt ostracized by all these girls.
What the world was, and people I loved and cared about thought about me and felt about me, to where it wasn't a decision or a comment for her to say he doesn't know me. But in the end, it triggered because I obviously felt like maybe some truth, you know?
So we don't have to discuss any names, but was there drug use during filming on that season?
Not that. I think maybe one in the bathroom. I never saw it. I swear to God, I never saw it. But I do remember I seen the producers going into the bathroom and following some people. And we were at the club and they were like, hey, because we have our mics on us. So no matter what we're doing, they can hear. So
just because the clip that we watched is, I believe it was it Andrea that said you were accused of doing white stuff the night before, and that was where that came from?
Yeah, no, that totally wasn't. No, no. If the anything that happened that you asked about, it was way in the beginning, like maybe the first week we were all there or something. You know what I'm saying? Or Andrea hadn't even, and no one had even been fighting the way we had been fighting when what I'm speaking of happened. I remember the producers were like rushing to the bathroom and things were happening, and yeah. So, but no. That's no. I do. That night, no, yeah, for sure, no. That was the night before was with Tanisha, I guess, when I got really drunk. And I felt like that's my problem. Like, and I guess the brown boundaries is going to be my new, like, I just feel like I'm always trying to be there for everyone and be a listening ear, because in the end, that's what I would want for me. I believe in karma and my karma to be good. And so I felt like I was always there for Cordelia, always a crying shoulder, always a friend, always, you know, when she needed me, I was there. So as soon as Andrea came around, it was like, who are you? Oh, this is, you know, my lesbian lover or something, like my soul sister. And it was like, screw you. And again, that triggered me again, and feeling the way I have in my life, to where it's like, wow, you can just push me aside. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I to die for life. And I didn't feel that from her. So it kind of got upset that night I got left for Tanisha and Naveen and Hannah to take care of me. And that's what I'm saying. They should never have had to. But for 3 random, not randoms, but at that point they were randoms in my life. You know, we didn't belong like that. And for them to step up and kind of take care of me and be there for me that night, it was just kind of a slap in my face from Cordelia. I felt like that she just didn't care the last month or so or two that I had been there as a friend. So.
Yeah. Oh, I have something to say. Oh, Brown Sugar, make sure you save this interview, like when we're like done, like, you know, you touch here, it's you know, live or whatever. But a question I had is Darlene, what is your thoughts on, like, you know, Zeus Network?
Yes, spill the tea, sis.
I really don't. That's what I'm saying. Natalie, I think, had hit me up on Twitter, and it said, "Hey, beautiful," and I didn't know why. I wasn't sure. And then I found out they were trying to do a little baddies and stuff, and I figured that's why she reached out to me. And then I saw the beef of her and Tanisha, and I was obviously going to always be Team Tanisha. But then it's like I found out that they were like doing it for the show and ratings, because then Tanisha went on the show, didn't she?
Yeah.
She's on there.
And I was like, what the so then I'm like, is this like the WWE? This is all an act, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just little fakers. But so I just stayed out of it, because in the end,
you watch baddies?
No, I don't even. Don't you have to like?
Yeah, you have to subscribe to it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I watch baddies, and no shade to any of the girls that are on there. You know, get your bag the way you get it. But for all the girls that I've seen from you and just the things we discussed tonight, I feel like all they do on their show is drink and fight, and I don't want that for you. I see so much growth and positivity for you. Like, I would love to see you on the show like The Challenge or Big Brother or something, you know, that's going to stimulate your mind a little bit. I don't think the show is like, no shade though. I love the show. No shade, but it's just.
Yeah, not because of like obviously what I'm going through in my personal life, but also just me in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a whole different outlook on life, losing really like loved ones that I've loved, and knowing that life is really fragile, and you're not promised tomorrow, and it could be in an illness like it took my aunt, or it could be a drug overdose like it took 2 of my really good friends, or it could just be in like car accident. Anyway, like don't take life for granted. And I'm not spending it on fighting with people every day and arguing, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not worth it. It's just not. And I feel like, because I am still here in life and God has given me so many chances, that there's no reason for me to like slap them in the face, you know, by.
Yeah.
Baby, I just wanted to tell you, because I feel your emotion right now, and before you got emotional, I'm not a tarot card reader per se, but I pulled the card The Sun. And to me, what that means, even though I don't know the meanings, it means that bright things are coming your way. So like, just hold on tight to that. Like,
I hope so.
I think things are gonna go your way, babe. Like,
me too. I see so much growth.
Spiritual, but like, I just lost my uncle 2 days ago as well. So like, I feel your pain, and I feel you. But I want you to know that there's a bright light around you, and that like, you're gonna like right now is gonna be a struggle, but you got it in the bag. I mean, you're a good mom, and you can tell that. Everybody can tell that.
Yeah, I like I said, if I get one more chance in any aspect of my life, then I'm gonna see it as a positive and not, like I said, slap God in the face and be like, haha, you kept me here and this is what I'm gonna do. No, I'm thankful, 100% grateful, and
Yeah.
Also, your aura is like a nice yellow, which means that you're generally a pretty happy girl.
I want to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Or woman, rather. But for the most part, you're pretty happy, and people like.
I'm gonna say girl because if you say woman, that means I'm getting old.
Cut it out. You're not getting old.
How
You look
long ago
amazing.
did you go to that girls' club? Like, how
The,
long?
the
Like
what?
14 years. 14
Yeah, someone just messaged me and they're like, "Oh my God, it was 15 years ago. I used to watch you when I was like 8." I'm like, "Why the hell were you watching that when you were 8?" But
No.
I was in middle school when your season came out, and I absolutely ate it up. I loved it.
no, I was at my daughter's dentist appointment the other day, and I was walking out, and the girl ran after me and was like, and I was just like, depends. Like, I'm like, no, it's just, yeah. But I'm about to be 40 in a couple weeks. I hate to say that, but
Happy almost birthday. You look amazing, though. You don't look like you're going to be 40 no time soon. You still look very much so like you did from your season, and I love that.
I look the same.
You're giving me like a mixture of Jessica Biel, the girl that's married to Justin Timberlake, and then a little bit of JWoww.
JWoww. Oh, really?
Yeah, like you're gorgeous.
You are.
I
love your cheekbones. Your cheekbones have always been my favorite.
You're 50. I have no reason to not be looking good at your age. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
But I also don't smoke cigarettes anymore, like at all, or vape. Like I look at people now, and I'm just like, or some of the episodes, and I smoke a lot.
Do you still smoke? Do you ever smoke the weed, or?
I used to for sure, but it was more anxiety, and like I just don't want to depend on medication and pills. Like I don't. If I could just have my body clean and free of everything. Like I don't even fake tan anymore. Like this is my natural pale beadiness. But I just, I kind of just, I don't know. I don't dye my hair. So I just feel like when, I feel like the more you keep your body healthy and natural, the longer it'll last, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Something
so
I
not
wanted
to cut you off, but I think it's been just about an hour. Our live is going to end soon, but would you mind if we called you back and got back on live if you have the extra time?
Yeah, for sure. I just need to get my charger as well. So.
Okay, absolutely.
All right,
so we're gonna do like a part 2 of the same interview, all right?
Okay.
We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, I did this, right?
Yes.
All right. Don't forget to share it. Don't you go? All right.
I need to save this.
I think you press the X and then you will see the share to page.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, look at the baby.
Yeah, that's my son. Here.
Oh, so cute. Hey, little one. So I leave and then save.
No, she only has to save it. It's her live, but you could just leave and then it'll say thanks for joining. You just press OK and then you're good. And then Brown Sugar, you just press share to page.
Okay.
Do not press Discord. Discord means delete. All right.
Okay, got you.
All right.